All right, joining me now is my guy, Mike Reiss. No, we're not in studio together. As a matter of fact, tell me about those palm trees behind you.
West Palm Beach, Florida, Steve. I had to set up the shot. You see the palm trees setting up tomorrow morning. We're here at the coaches media availability, 7:45. Mike Vrabel going to meet
Wow.
with reporters. There's a lot going on down here, Steve. And if you're a Patriots fan, things to know. Robert Kraft is here. Jonathan Kraft is here. Mike Vrabel, very present throughout the day today in the lobby here at the Breakers Hotel. Elliot Wolf, Executive Vice President of Player Personnel. He's here. Ryan Cowden, the Director of Player Personnel, he is here. Steve, they set the stage for, the 2025 league year. They go through rule changes, things like that. And we're
Yep.
going to get the latest buzz on the Patriots being here.
Well, the latest buzz right now is all about Stefon Diggs. The signing on Friday, getting it done in the press conference. Let's talk about that and what he brings to the table. Because last week at this time, he had left, right? And I was like disappointed. Is he coming back? Is he coming back? Well, they got it done.
That's right. And so, Steve, it was really interesting to me the way this unfolded. First, being here at the league meetings, I will tell you, Patriots very excited about this. The one thing they were concerned about was just the coming back from the torn ACL.
Right.
And the way we were able to work out the contract with Stefon Diggs, where they don't have to pay out the bonuses and guarantees until he passes a physical, sort of gives the team a little bit of an insurance policy on this whole thing. But the way they look at his fit in this offense, he's going to have a lot of balls thrown his way, and he's going to be a prime guy for them, really, right up at the top of the depth chart. So something they didn't have, Steve, and they feel like they're supporting Drake Maye in bringing him aboard.
Will he be ready to go week one? I know you're not a doctor, but tell me about that.
It's such a great question, Steve. And Diggs himself obviously didn't want to set the timetable. And I expect Mike Vrabel to really push back if we push him tomorrow morning on a timetable, because that's one thing he's said sort of privately he doesn't want to do to players, setting a timetable. But Diggs is ahead of schedule, running full speed, even starting to cut a little bit. So all signs are good right now, Steve, but still a long way to go.
All right, the draft's coming up. So what does that do to change the course of the Patriots for the draft? Does it change any course? And if Travis Hunter is available, do they still take him? I'd love to see this Patriots team loaded with two dangerous receivers.
Okay. So, Steve, this is more my opinion than anything I'm hearing from the Patriots, just based on looking at what they have. I don't think it changes anything. So you sign Stefon Diggs, and if Travis Hunter's still there and you feel strongly about him as a franchise, and I believe there are people within the Patriots that really like Travis Hunter, you still take him. I mean, really, because when you look at it, Steve, Stefon Diggs is 31 years old. He's going to be 32 this year. You hope that he plays the 3 years of the contract, but it very well could easily be this season and maybe next season, maybe not next season, or maybe the next 2 seasons and not the third season. So I think, to me, this makes you better in 2025 whenever Diggs is ready to play, hopefully week 1 for the Patriots, but it doesn't address your future need. And Travis Hunter certainly would do that.
A lot more surrounding this football team right now because they have the Hall of Fame voting coming up. Okay? And you're on the committee. I'm on the committee. Big decisions to be made.
Yes.
Julian Edelman being one.
Yes.
Adam Vinatieri being one.
Yes.
I say put them both in.
Oof. And Steve,
Mike.
Yeah. I love it, Steve. I mean, Steve, that's a tough. If you have to choose one, that's tough. And that doesn't even include Bill Parcells, who has been a finalist for 5 times.
Good
that
point.
Doesn't include Logan Mankins, who was a finalist 2 years ago when Mike Vrabel got in. I know we'd love to put them all in, Steve, but the way the setup is we'll get in there as a nominating committee. We'll narrow it down to 3 people.
Right.
And then those 3 will get voted on by the fans. And there's a lot of deserving, worthy candidates.
How do you not put Adam in? How do you not put Julian in?
Well, I mean, Steve, I want to also mention Dad. I mean, Ron Burton. I mean, we've talked about him in the meetings.
That, Mike.
I mean, and all the original Patriot, and there's others from past eras. So to me, Steve, like, I am a big Bill Parcells advocate, but I also understand people feel passionately that he shouldn't be in because of the way it ended with him back in the 90s. So to me, his candidacy is always so polarizing to talk about. But
We're
as
talking
he
about the
gets,
big tuna, Mike. The big tuna needs to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. I agree
well,
with you.
I'm glad you feel that way. I feel that way, but I also respect others that don't. I just feel like, he's getting older, Steve. And if it's going to happen, you start getting to think about, you want the person to still be with us when
Right.
it happens.
Right,
And
it's
I
alive.
think back to 1993 when he came here, and I felt like he brought credibility to a Patriots franchise that had fallen on hard times in the early 90s. And so, that was back in the time, Steve, when I was still a student, and it sort of ignited my passion for the Patriots. So that's sort of why I feel strongly about it.
What should we expect training camp for the Patriots going forward?
Some good chatter here at the league meeting, Steve, in West Palm Beach. They've had conversations with Washington Commanders,
Oh,
with Minnesota Vikings about possibly practicing together, joint practices. Nothing official, Steve, but the league needs to approve that because it's usually married up with the preseason games, and the league schedules those games. So the Patriots, those teams would make requests to the league. Hey, if we could play in the preseason, it would be great because we'd like to practice together. So that's been some good buzz that I've picked up down here at the league meetings.
were you surprised that Mike Vrabel has let go of a lot of captains, Juwan Bentley being the latest one now?
Well, when those moves happen, it's always a surprise just because of what those players have meant to the franchise. You mentioned Jawan Bentley, David Andrews before that. So it does feel like there's a part of this that, yeah, well, there might be football reasons driving the decision. There's also culture reasons. He wants his own leaders in there. But I have to say, once the Patriots signed Robert Spillane, the linebacker from the Raiders in free agency,
Yeah.
and they matched the offer sheet to Christian Ellis, the linebacker who the Raiders signed to an offer sheet, when the Patriots matched that, it almost felt like Jawan Bentley was going to be the odd man out.
Man. Hey, work on your tan while you're there.
It's great, Steve. This
Love the
is your
palm
type of place.
trees.
Steve, it's your type of place.
It
All
is
right.
my
I have 2 beds in my hotel room. If you want to come down, I we
buddy.
can do this.
Right here. Right here. You're the best, my friend.
All right, Steve. Great
Get back
talking with you.
safely.